All right, everybody, we're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you all for joining today. I know that you all have really busy schedules, so we really appreciate you taking the time to learn more about the firm profiles. A couple quick notes before we get started. The first being we will be taking questions and we will be providing answers throughout the webinar. However, if you haven't noticed already, you all have been muted, and that is just to reduce background noise so that the broadcast is clear for everybody. But there is a questions feature within the webinar, so please feel free to type in any questions you may have throughout the webinar, and we will have designated time at the end to go over those and answer all of your questions. And in the event that there are some that we can't answer, we will be sure to follow up with you. Additionally, we are recording this webinar, and we will be creating a written copy of the Q&A. So that will all be posted on our Client Success Center, where we have stored all of our other documentation relating to this transition, and that will be available to all of you in the coming days. I'm Isabel. I just wanted to quickly introduce myself as well. I work in customer success here at Matratech, and I will be walking you through this content along with my colleague Tracy, who is the head of our Collaborati support team.
Hi, everyone.
Great. All right, so let's get started. So today we're going to talk about a few things. The first is just an overview of all of the upcoming changes. We're also going to talk about what the new firm structure is and talk specifically about what is actually going to be changing in Collaborati. And then finally, we're also going to talk about the benefits of this transition, why we're deciding to do it, the schedule. So we'll give you a timeline of all of the dates, and then any possible impacts that this may have to you. And then we're going to wrap up talking about what we need from you. So first, let's start with an overview of the Collaborati firm structure. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the vocabulary we'll be using in this presentation. I just want to make sure you're all familiar with this so that you understand exactly what we're talking about when we're referring to different terminology. So the first word is a firm, and this is the newest Collaborati account type. So going forward, this will be the structure that we use. This will be the term that we use. And this essentially is the parent account in the new structure. Next is the term office. So this is the billing office for the firm. If a firm has more than one physical location, those will each be shown as individual offices. And these offices are the children in the new structure. So some firms may only have one office. In that case, they will have one firm and one office, whereas some firms have more than one office, so they will have one firm and potentially, 2 to 10 offices or more. The third term is vendor, and this is a legacy term that we are phasing out. This is just referring to the previous type of Collaborati profile. So the previous profile was a vendor profile, and going forward, we have firm and office profiles as a replacement. Then firm admins are a user type in Collaborati. The admin has access to all of the functionality in Collaborati, so they have unrestricted access. And then there is the firm user, and this is a different user type in Collaborati that has limited access, but still can submit invoices and budget requests. So I quickly wanted to talk about what things look like today. So today in Collaborati, this is kind of what a structure would look like for a firm that does have more than one office. And right now, each of those are maintained as separate logins to Collaborati. So there, for example, is Braun & Braun New York account with its own login, same for London and same for Chicago. And so the pain point is firms have to create an account in Collaborati for each of their billing offices. And that can be difficult to maintain and just involves a lot of switching between profiles and having to log back in and out of the system. So going ahead, we will have an automated update to the firm structure in July. So we are going to confirm all of the offices that you have with you. And once we've confirmed that we have the correct information, we are going to run an automated update in Collaborati that will create this new firm structure with the firm office associations. So if you see, we just talked about that graphic on the left. The graphic on the right is what's going to happen in the future. So you will still have all of those accounts and all of that information will remain in the system. But those three are all going to be merged into one firm. So each will now be an office within the firm. And when you log into Collaborati, you will be logging into the firm. So you will have access to all three offices. So a lot of people are wondering why we're doing this. There are a lot of different reasons, but these are some of what we thought were the most important to communicate. The first being this will streamline the submission of timekeeper rates in multiple currencies. Global or firm level exchange rates will allow timekeepers to submit invoices around the globe. Automated validation of invoice line items with your client negotiated exchange rate in your client's system, and allowing timekeepers to have unique rates by firm office, domestic or international. And ultimately, this will reduce the number of profiles you have for a timekeeper to one in the future. So we know a lot of you that have more than one Collaborati profile are maintaining multiple versions of the same timekeeper in each login. Down the road, you will just have one timekeeper, and all of the information you have been maintaining will be stored on that timekeeper. So you'll be able to maintain multiple rates on one timekeeper instead of having duplicates. So when is this happening? Actually, part of this has already happened. So for all single office firms, so Collaborati users that only have one account, they have been transitioned into the structure already. For those of you that apply to that group, you may have just noticed that there are some additional features, things look slightly different, but really not much has been changed in terms of using the system. It's still familiar and it probably hasn't really impacted you. So that's all been completed. So we actually do have 4 pilot firms that are participating in the first version of the multi-office firm update, and that is going to be taking place from June 6th to 7th. So this will give us an opportunity to get feedback from them and see how everything works out. And then all of the multi-office firms will be completing this transition July 18th. So that means everybody that is not a pilot firm and has more than one Collaborati login will be included in this group. We have sent multiple communications to all of you, and we have also requested information from you. We've sent surveys to get the information on what firms you want added to the structure. So please respond to that request for information. It's really important that you do that. So everybody who we have information for will be moved on the 18th, but for firms that don't respond, they won't be moved into their final structure on the 18th. Instead, each existing vendor profile will become an individual firm. So it will work similar to the single office firms, where instead of now having, 5 vendor profiles, you'll have 5 firm profiles, and those will all have to be merged into one at a later date. This won't impact you negatively. It will just drag out the process. So we ask that you please submit the surveys and get that all completed so we can just include you in the July 18th transition, just to make everything easier for you. So now we are going to talk about what is actually changing in Collaborati. So these are the impacts to Collaborati accounts with this new structure. All users can access all firm offices with a single login. So this is a little bit different from what existed with the old structure. So previously, if you had more than one login, those were all maintained separately. So some users may have only had access to certain logins. With this new structure, any user in your new firm profile will have access to every office, and they will be able to access that with a single login. All users will keep their existing permissions, but are now able to access all offices within the new firm. So this also applies to firm admins. They will now have admin access to all offices if they are still designated as an admin. Users can access all firm offices, and timekeepers can bill from each office. So this makes maintaining timekeepers a lot easier. And then finally, timekeepers can more easily adhere to client e-billing requirements when invoicing from multiple offices and currencies. So now I'm going to hand it over to Tracy, and she is going to talk about the new firm view and compare it to the previous vendor view.
Thank you, Isabel. This is Tracy. So we can go to the next slide. So today, users can review their invoices, but they may have multiple login credentials corresponding to multiple profiles. It's rather tedious to review invoices for different clients when you have multiple logins. So the new firm structure will allow users to see invoices across multiple profiles. On the Track Invoices screen, users can filter the invoices by each office. Today, users can upload their invoices, but they may have multiple login credentials if they have multiple profiles. Again, this is tedious when you need to upload invoices for multiple clients and you have to log in and log out of the system. So, the new firm structure will allow users to upload invoices across multiple profiles. On the Upload Invoices screen, users can choose which profile they want to upload a leads file to. Additionally, the recent activity list can be filtered by each office. Billing to different clients will come with less effort. Today, users can create invoices, but again, they may have multiple login credentials in order to bill to different clients. So, the new firm structure will allow users to create invoices across multiple profiles. This way, you can bill to different clients much more easily. Today, users can see and review their clients' information, but they may have multiple login credentials in order to see those different clients. So the new firm structure will allow users to review their clients' information much more easily. On the Clients page, users can filter the list of clients by office. This will be much more efficient than the current system. Today, users can review the list of matters but may have multiple login credentials for multiple profiles. So, the new firm structure will allow users to see the list of matters. On the Matters page, users can filter the list of matters by a particular office. There have been several occasions where the matter was assigned to one profile and it made it difficult to find. So I'm particularly excited to see the new firm structure and how this will help with this problem. Today, users can access the list of timekeepers but they may have multiple login credentials in order to access different timekeepers. The new firm structure will allow users to access timekeepers across multiple profiles. On the timekeepers page, users can see all the timekeepers for all offices, or they can choose to filter the list by one or more offices. This page includes a special column to identify the office for each timekeeper, making the process even more efficient. Next screen. In the new firm structure, timekeepers can be uploaded for one or more offices with just a few clicks. This page shows that one or more offices can be chosen. This will save time over the current process. The new firm structure will allow users to access rate requests across multiple profiles. On the rate request page, users can see all the rate requests for all the offices, or they can choose to filter the list by one or more offices. This page also includes a special column to identify the office for each rate request. Additionally, rate requests can be uploaded by selecting the office and the client. This should make the process much more efficient. Today, users can create and review the list of rates, but they may have multiple login credentials for multiple profiles. So, the new firm structure will allow users to view rates. As you can see on the client's rate page, users can filter by the office. Today, users can review the timekeeper details by clicking on the timekeeper profile, but they may have multiple login credentials in order to access different timekeepers. So the new firm structure will allow users to review timekeeper details. Additionally, there's a home office field that can be designated on the top right of the page. There's also another part of the screen. Using the blue navigational bar on the left, you can review a timekeeper's associated office and manage them. Today, users can access budget requests, but again, they may have multiple login credentials for multiple profiles. The new firm structure will allow users to see the list of budget requests. On the budget request page, users can filter the list by a particular office. Today, users can access the profile details. Again, they may have multiple login credentials in order to access multiple profiles. The new firm structure will allow users to see an improved firm profile with one or more contacts. The changes here will make it easier to list key contact people at the firm. Admin users will be able to see a list of each of the offices within the overall firm. Admin users will also be able to see and manage the list of all their firm's users. This will make the process more efficient, and the current workaround we have of making users with case-sensitive email addresses won't be as necessary in the future. The new firm structure will allow users to view the history. On the history page, users can filter by a particular office.
All right, so hopefully that offered some clarity into exactly what the changes are going to look like when your profile is updated. But now we want to talk about what we need from you. So please check your email for a communication from Mitratech. If you have not already completed the survey that was sent to you, this only applies to firms with more than one Collaborati profile. Please make sure that you complete that survey and return it to us as soon as you can. The most important part of that survey is confirming the list of offices. Mitratech representatives will be following up individually if necessary. So if you have not completed the survey, we do have a designated team following up with you. Please make sure that you are responding to any requests for information, as this will greatly speed up the process. Please contact us if you have not received any communications, have concerns, or your questions are not answered by the resources we have available. So now we are going to get into the Q&A portion of this webinar. So please send in any questions that you may have so we can address them here. If you have a question, it's probably pretty likely that someone else on the line does as well. So just give us a moment to take a look at the questions and we'll start answering them soon.
Okay, first question, can you designate which email belongs to which office? The answer to that is yes. We have asked in the survey who your billing contacts are for each office. So please make sure to add all those details when you answer the survey, and they will be set up as your request. Let's see. Next question is a Team Connect setup question, which I'm not sure if maybe Tracy, you can help with this one. What changes need to occur on the Team Connect setup to make this happen?
Sure. So the question is,
yes.
What changes need to occur on the Team Connect setup to make this happen? So in order for a vendor or what we're now calling the firm to be authorized by your Team Connect client, there will not be any actual changes to that process. The setup on the Team Connect side will still have to take place, and the authorization will happen in a similar fashion to the way that it occurs now. However, in the future, we do hope to allow for our Team Connect clients to make use of an overarching firm structure, but that will happen separately from the authorization and setup that needs to happen today.
Thank you, Tracy. The next question is, will we be able to assign different tax ID numbers to different offices?
I can take that question too.
Okay.
So yes, each office will be able to have a tax ID, so that you would be able to have a different tax ID on different offices. However, there will be also a special firm profile, and that will only be able to have one identifier. So you can pick one of the tax IDs, or you could just use a different identifier if you'd like. But the different offices will be able to have different tax ID.
Okay. Are the multiple logins going to be closed and narrowed down to one person?
I'm not sure what that question is asking.
I can take that one. So let's say that that I am working with, ABC Law Firm, and I have 5 different profiles with ABC Law Firm and 5 different logins for ABC Law Firm. And so it sounds like they're asking, will I in the future just have one login? And the answer is that Collaborati support can work with the firm admin users in order to disable, like in this particular scenario, somebody would need to disable 4 of those user accounts, so then I would be left with just one that would be activated and one that I would use. So that is going to be something that the firm admins will need to review, and if you need help with that, Collaborati support can assist you with that.
Thank you. And I would add to that question, with multiple sign-ons for each office now, what will be the sign-on process for the new structure for each user, or what will be the sign-on for the new structure? I'm not quite sure if that makes sense to you or not, Tracy.
I'm not quite sure.
Okay, we'll come back to that, or if you can expand.
I think I can answer that question.
Okay.
I think this is just asking, like, if I'm understanding the question correctly, it's asking, right now I have to log in separately to each office. What do I do in the future? In the future, you will have one login, and so you will just log in once, and you will have access to all of those offices within that login. So it will be much, much simpler.
Thank you. We have a few with regard to eBilling Hub, and I'm going to save those for the end and just work through a couple others. So just know your questions are not being ignored there. We're just going to save them all to the end. Can multiple offices have the same tax IDs?
Yes, that sounds like it's similar to the other question we answered. So each office will need to have a tax ID, but you can have multiple offices within the firm profile. So essentially, if you have one office that has this tax ID and another office that has that tax ID, they would be within the one firm profile.
Thank you. Let's see. Will it be possible to add multiple rate currencies for one timekeeper within one office?
So I think the current structure will allow for one timekeeper within one office to be assigned one currency. So if that currency is USD, then that timekeeper would have to be assigned a rate in the USD currency. However, it would be a lot easier to manage if you had a separate office which included the same timekeeper, but maybe that timekeeper has like a European euro currency. So then you can manage 2 timekeepers, each within their own separate office, and they will each have their own currency designated on their own currency designated for each of those timekeeper profiles.
Thank you. Can multiple people be logged in under the firm profile at one time?
Yes.
Great. Here is a question on if a firm would prefer to have the siloed and/or single office setup over the multi-office setup. is this possible?
Yes, it is possible, but it isn't necessarily what we would recommend. And I will just mention that we do have a lot of clients that are looking to use functionality that is going to be built off of this. So I would say if that is something that you need to maintain separately for a specific reason, I would reach out to our team and talk to them about it just so we can understand exactly what the implications of that might be. And I would also potentially double check that there aren't any clients that you have that are specifically looking to use this functionality going forward. But that being said, if you do choose to keep your profile separate, if your client does require that you move to this new structure, that will be possible in the future. So just to summarize that, technically it is possible. It's not really recommended, and there will be lots of new functionality being built off of this in the future. So I would assume that at some point, one of your clients may require you to do this so that you can be using the additional functionality down the line.
Thank you. Let's see. Will we issue a document for firm admins with steps of what needs to happen in Collaborati? I can take this one. Our firm, yes, our plan is to have resources for when firms get moved to the new firm structure, for firm admins to refer to. So throughout this process, we've offered lots of information and resources in our Client Success Center, and we will continue to do so. This one is regard to banking instructions. How will banking instructions be linked between Team Connect and Collaborati for multiple offices?
I don't believe that this will. Sorry, go ahead, Tracy.
So currently, some of our Team Connect clients do include or do ask their vendors to enter bank information on their particular profile. And so in the future, when we move into the office and firm structure, those that bank account information will still be available on the office profile. And so you will be able to share that with your Team Connect client in a similar way as today.
Thank you. Will clients see our available firm offices when they are setting up a matter in Team Connect?
Yes. So the view in Team Connect is not really changing very much. And when clients assign a matter to you, they will assign it at the office level. So it will remain fairly similar on the Team Connect end. And so in Collaborati, you will just see the matters by office. So you'll be able to see all assigned matters by the office that they have been assigned to.
Thank you. Okay, the last few questions that I have are with regard to eBilling Hub. I will preface this by saying we may have to get back to you on some of the particulars. However, we'll go ahead. Oh, hold on one second. Extending question on the billing question. May we have different banking information on each office?
Yes.
Great. Okay. This question is, we use eBilling Hub to submit our invoices to Collaborati. At which point should we involve them to replicate the new office structure in eBilling Hub so that our invoices do not get rejected in the new setup? Tracy, I'm wondering, do you have any context here, or should we just commit to answering these eBilling Hub questions directly?
So I do know that we have had a conversation with some folks over at eBilling Hub, and we are working with them on sharing some information about some of the offices and the firm structure that will go in with those new firms. And I would say that we do want our firms to be aware that there will be changes that will need to take place in eBilling Hub. And the problem is I'm not quite sure when you would need to involve them. So we may need to follow up on that question.
Okay, we can follow up with that directly to the people that have asked it. Each of the questions are pretty similar in how will the changes affect submitting invoices through eBilling Hub. So we can get back to you on those, but I would say they know enough about the project at this point for you to reach out to them as well yourselves. But we can respond back to you directly. So let's see, that is all the questions we have so far. We can pause for another minute to see if any others come through. We appreciate your attendance here today. Okay, no others are coming through. So I would say that please please fill out the survey by the 29th. You can indicate any offices that you may like to keep in the single office structure. However, once you get into the survey, it will be clear as to where you can designate your new firm structure, as well as maybe keep others in a siloed fashion. Oh, we have one more question. We will be billing in 2 different currencies. Can each timekeeper have rates in 2 currencies?
As long as they have 2 offices with 2 different associated currencies, then yes. So say you have firm ABC, and then you have office ABC, and that's in London, and office ABC, and that's in New York. If you have one timekeeper that is authorized to bill out of both, that timekeeper can bill out of the London office in GBP and out of the New York office in USD.
Thank you. One more. My office has only 1 client. Can that be set as the standard client for my login? Or will I have to select that client each time I log on?
So the process isn't changing. You don't have to select a client when you log in. When you log in, you'll just be logging into your profile, and anytime you submit an invoice, if you only have 1 client, then that will be the client that the invoice is going to.
Thank you. Okay, well, as Isabel said in the beginning, we will be making the webinar as well as the Q&A available to you all in the Client Success Center. We appreciate you working with us, moving forward with the new firm structure to be able to leverage these new features. So we appreciate you cooperating with us in that effort. Thank you, Isabel and Tracy, for your time and expertise today. And we will be in touch soon.